Do you ever find yourself feeling numb and dead on the inside? Do you ever find that it's challenging for you to identify and express what you're feeling in a way that is genuine? Do you ever feel like even if you try to do this, there may be no point because the problem that you're trying to address will not get solved? In this video, I'm going to discuss why this can happen to some people and the phenomena that occurs in environments that can make this difficult to get out of. My name is Dr. Felucio, and I'm a licensed psychologist and owner of Skill Set Counseling. And in this channel, I often describe phenomenon that occur in gaslighting and emotionally abusive and spiritually abusive environments. And so in this video, I'm going to be discussing a little bit about gaslighting and how that can affect people emotionally, especially when they feel very numb, feel just kind of blank on the inside emotionally. Okay. And so, in order for you to learn more about gaslighting, what I would do is I'd recommend going to a video on my gaslighting playlist. And it is the name of the video is What is Gaslighting? And so I'd recommend that you check that video out because in that video, I go more into depth about gaslighting, how you can experience it, and what it is. Okay. But just to give a brief definition of it, it is a form of emotional manipulation in which the offending party attempts to convince you to doubt your own reality. Okay. And the person who is gaslighting you, they want to make you or try to convince you that what you are experiencing is not real. They want to convince you that you are not competent to assess your own reality correctly, or there's something flawed or wrong with your character that makes you experience emotions in a wrong way. Okay. And so if you imagine being on the receiving end of this over and over again, that can really wreck your emotions, not only in how you experience them, but also how you express them. Okay, and so I just want to clarify too that gaslighting can occur in any type of relationship, in any type of environment. It occurs most often in abusive relationships, especially when the person who is gaslighting has narcissistic tendencies, but that's not always the case. In this on this channel, I discuss spiritual abuse quite often, and gaslighting is something that occurs in spiritually abusive environments. In fact, that's one of the things that keeps it going. But this is not just related to spiritual abuse. This occurs in any kind of this can occur rather in any kind of emotional relationship, any kind of interpersonal situation, rather, that is not healthy. Okay. And so if you think about it, think about a healthy relationship and think about a relationship in which people grow, in which people change. In order for that growth and change to happen, both parties need to feel comfortable and feel that it's safe and that it's okay to express all kinds of emotions as long as it's done in a healthy way, right? People who are in healthy relationships just aren't sitting and staring at each other and smiling all the time. And that even goes for healthy environments, right? It's not always just this one big happy family all the time. There are going to be times when anger is brought up, people are feeling sad, there's loss that people need to express, unhappiness, dissatisfaction, criticism. It is the whole range of emotions. And what healthy environments and healthy relationships do is that they allow safe places for every party to express this, right? So it's safe and it's normalized, right? It's normalized for people to express that they're happy with something or that they're unhappy with something. And it's not necessarily the expression of the emotion, but how it's done. Is it done in a safe way? Is it done in a respectful way? Is it done in a healthy way? Okay. But in gaslighting relationships, it is not, that doesn't happen. What ends up occurring is that people, especially the person who is gaslighting. So if you think about a gaslighting relationship, there's a person who is doing the gaslighting. I'm gonna call this person the gaslighter, okay? And they have this fixed image often of who they are or who they want other people to see them as being. And so and if they have that very strong and fixed internal sense of self that is not realistic, and they have a really difficult time accepting any sort of criticism or feedback. And that can be direct feedback, someone saying, hey, I didn't like this, you did this, I don't appreciate this. But that feedback can also come in emotions, right? And so people can feel expression, people can feel emotions and take that as a form of criticism. If someone expresses sadness, or if someone expresses anger, or someone just doesn't seem satisfied or thrilled with what someone else is doing, someone who is gaslighting can then take that and react very negatively to that. And because their internal sense of self cannot accept that, they retaliate through gaslighting. So the person, they basically are saying, hey, look, the problem is not with me, it's with you. It is with how you experience your reality, and there's something wrong with it. And so people who gaslight can do this in a few ways, but the one of the ways that I'll cover in this video is that they will attempt to convince you that there's something wrong with you, with your character, with your perception. You're the one with the flaw, basically. And so there are certain ways that they can do this. And I go into more detail about this in some of my other videos. But the most important thing, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, is that people who gaslight, or systems where gaslighting is prevalent, they do not want to take accountability for anything. It's almost like they're allergic to accountability. Even though I know that, we cannot be allergic to accountability, I say that more as a figure of speech, but it is something that they just cannot tolerate. And I want you to think about this in a more nuanced way, right? So no one is going to come out and say, hey, I don't like accountability, right? Accountability is a virtue. And with people who gaslight, external appearances are very important to them. So in this case, what often happens is that they will tout the virtues of accountability. They will talk about, I love feedback. I have, I can take anything, just let me know. But their actions show the opposite. And that's one skill that if you are in an unhealthy relationship or unhealthy system, you really have to be able to look past what people say and and instead focus on what their actions communicate. So somebody who is gaslighting someone else will often show that they don't like accountability because of how they act. And that can be not following through on what they promise they're going to do. It can be saying one thing and doing another. And so in this case, and again, what I want you to remember is that people who gaslight do not like accountability. They're not going to be accountable to themselves for the change that they said they're going to do. And when someone brings this up to them, when someone challenges their view of themselves by saying, hey, I didn't like this, or expressing some kind of emotion that they view as a threat, they retaliate through gaslighting. And so I'm just going to pause for a second here and ask that if you find this content helpful, to please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And then also drop a comment in the comment section, letting me know your reaction to this, what you agree with, what you relate with. That really helps get this information out to individuals who can benefit from it. Okay. And so now I'm going to go ahead and answer the original question, which is, why do you feel so numb? Why do you feel so depleted? And why do you feel like it's difficult for you to express your emotions? And that is because gaslighting can be an extremely draining and punishing experience. I talked about this in one of my other videos, but gaslighting is an erosive process. And so when people who do this repeatedly do this time and time and time again, the person who is experiencing the gaslighting, then they feel like they cannot trust their own emotions. They can't express their own emotions. They feel like, what is the point of doing this if every time I bring this up, I'm being punished, right? Eventually, if someone keeps doing a behavior and they're punished for it, or they're not rewarded for it, then they just stop doing it. And that is the case with people who are experiencing gaslighting, whether it's in like a spiritually abusive situation, an unhealthy or toxic relationship. They just learn that it might be easier for them not even to acknowledge what they're feeling, because they have to acknowledge it. They're going to have to do something about it. And they found that 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 environment or that relationship that they're in does not respond in a healthy way when they bring up emotion. So that can be extremely draining for someone. And that's why when I work with my clients, I notice things like they'll tell me, I have difficulty sometimes even understanding what I feel or expressing it, or I feel too tired to even bring up a problem because I know, or I wonder, is this going to be addressed? Is this going to be taken care of? And that can be a form of learned helplessness. You learn over time that expressing emotions, identifying them, trying to foster communication, and working toward a healthy environment and relationship is just not worth the effort. And that can be extremely draining and extremely challenging. And so it's really important that if you're in a situation like this, that you realize you can't change the other person. You are going to need to work on your own skills that help you identify and express emotions in a way that's healthy, in a way that helps you achieve your goals and purposes. Okay. And so if you're interested in doing this, I would recommend that you go through some other videos that I have. You'll see some videos in the gaslighting section of the playlist, the gaslighting playlist that talk about this. And you can also book a free consultation with me on my website. It's skillsetcounseling.com. You can also go in the description box and click on the link to go ahead and book a free consultation so we can discuss a good plan that will help you get what you need. So I hope this information was helpful to you. May you have a day filled with peace. Bye-bye.